Check, check. All right, we are on. So today we're going to be learning how to use the Kumzits Chordbook. And earlier, as you saw, the sound was off. So that's very frustrating, but we're going to do this again. So the way it works is there's a chord book, and I use this for my events. And it's made in order to lead Kumzitses. It's actually structured, and not just the songs are there, but it's structured where the songs are organized by scale, they're organized by speed, and you can transition seamlessly from one song to the next. And it's really good. Right now there's 165 songs, and Rachel Markel recommended that I learn Alei, Odom, Alei. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And I only have about 15 minutes before I have to leave for Shabbos, so we are going to do this quickly. And most of it's pretty much done, like everything's downloaded and everything like that. So luckily we can move on straight to the actual chording part. So the first thing I do is I download, first I go to YouTube, okay? And what I'll do is, well, let's go here. I'll find a version of the song that I like. In this case, this is the version I like. All right. If you put in Ben Odom, it'll come right up. And there's a bunch of names for this song, actually. So you'll find Alei, Odom, Alei, you'll find Ben Odom, and you'll also find Kanfei, Ruach. And I think the official name is Kanfei, Ruach. And it's originally, the tune is originally by Avigail Uziel Amar. And the words are by Rav Kook. So I go ahead and I choose a version. I then go to YouTube to MP3, and I put it in, it processes it, and then I can download it. And I did all this already, so I'm just showing you the process here. Once I download it, then I go ahead and bring it into this program called Chordify.net, and it's something I pay for about $12 a month, I think. It's worth it. I use it every single day. It analyzes it, and then it spits out the chords. And the chords are often incorrect. Most of the time, they're pretty good. They're a good foundation, but they're incorrect sometimes, and it has to be fixed up a little bit. So you need a human mind to go ahead and do that. But this is a good start because it tells you pretty much the key. You can see here, these are all chords in the A minor key. All right, until you get to G minor here, which may be a mistake, but it also may be a little bit of a substituted chord. So let's go ahead and hear this. Check, check. I'm just going to do the levels here. Okay. So I don't want to play the whole thing for copyright reasons, but let's go ahead and... so before you start chording out, you have to go ahead and write the words out. And this is also a little bit complicated because you can't just write the words out, because if, let's say I copy it from a website, what's going to end up happening is the way that they transliterate might be different than the way another one transliterates, and since it's going to be in a book, there has to be uniformity. So I always make sure that I translate it a specific way that I agreed upon a couple of years ago when I started doing this. So I already took the liberty to go ahead and find the Hebrew with Nekudos and I transliterated it already. And so this is the way I did it, and I found there's one area that I could not figure out whether it was Vayimotsu or Vayimatseu, because whether it's Kamatz Katan or Kamatz Gadol, it changes the way it's pronounced. And it sounds like everybody who sings it is pronouncing it technically incorrectly, and I'm a little bit of a stickler for the technical transliteration. So I have to go and ask a Hebrew speaker, but one who's a technical Hebrew speaker. So I always start out with the last name first, because when you search for it, it makes sense to do the last name first, just in organization purposes in terms of sorting. And then I put the name of the song and then a couple other ways that people might call it, so it's easier to search. If I give them a list of songs I have, it's easier to search that way. Over here, I put a bunch of things. So this is a lot of the technical stuff of the song. The first thing I put is tempo. Okay. Then I put the capo, whether there's a capo involved. In fact, I started doing this a little bit differently to organize it better. So let's do it this. What I do is I put details. I put tempo. I put key. I put, you know what, let me go ahead and make this smaller, so just in case I'm blocking something, it won't affect anything. Okay. So I put the key, and then I also put the first note of the verse. So I call it first note verse. I wonder if there's a technical name for the first note that the singer sings of a song. I don't know if there is or not. I asked some musicians, but nobody knew. So that's the first note of the verse. And then I put the vocal range of the entire song, so people who know their range know if they can reach those notes based on the key that it's in. Very good details. The reason I put the first note verse is because when you're going from song to song, sometimes it might start on A, sometimes it might start on C, sometimes it might start on E. And so it's good to know which note it starts on, so you can kind of just pluck an E, and you can know, oh, in this case it starts on A, so, oh, and then, so I know exactly where to start even before I play. Really cool. The next line is, which I'm not going to need for this one yet, but sometimes there's going to be a transpose line. So let's say the key is too high for my range. I'm a bass, so that means my range is around E2 to E4. 2 is the octave of a piano, so it's the E of the second octave of a piano to E, which is of the fourth octave of a piano, middle C being the fourth octave of a piano. So if I go ahead and find that it's too high for me, I'm going to go and transpose it to a different key. So then I'll use a capo perhaps, or I'll change from A minor to E minor in positioning on the guitar and so on. Technical stuff, if you get it, good. If not, don't worry about it. But this is what it's for. So there's a transpose line. I don't need that yet. So we're going to go ahead and take that out. And capo, I always put in, whether or not I need one. And if I don't need one, I just put 0. But we'll find out soon. So these are my details. And now, so we have this, we have the details. I also went and got the translation online for simplicity, but I actually do have someone amazing, Rishi Groner, who does my translations. She's a brilliant mind. She's been learning and studying all this, Tanakh and everything since she was very little, and she has a really good way of translating into common English. So I don't like when you pick up these books and they're very complex English, it's not good. So I needed someone who can take, in many cases, very, very difficult Hebrew, poetic Hebrew in a lot of cases, like Tehillim especially, and to be able to translate it into ways that normal English speakers like myself, who's not a literary genius, can understand. And she does an amazing job. So I'm going to give her this soon, and she's going to go ahead and translate it in a way that, number one, that I would own, and number two, that that would be something more people might understand. I haven't really read this yet, so maybe this is understandable, but nonetheless. Okay. Also, on the bottom, I also write the source. So in this case, Rav Avraham Yitzhak Cook wrote in Orod HaKodesh, and this is the page number, and that I found online as well. So this is kind of it. Now we're going to go put the chords in. I imagine they'll be pretty quick. I hope they are. Let's go and see. Generally speaking, it's easier to find the chords when there's no orchestra. So I think this is just guitar. And here's my favorite version. So there's something happening here. So this is not a normal chord. This is something interesting. So what I usually do is slow it down. Well, a couple of things, but let's slow it a little bit, and we'll go to here. Oh, this is a tricky one. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. That's going to require a little more time to figure out what that chord is, because they're doing all kinds of interesting stuff there. I know we have a C major 7th coming over here. Because I have a little limited time, what we'll do right now is a very basic version of it, and then we'll come back when I'm not rushed for Shabbos to do something more complex. So right now we have A minor, I put it over there. It's also a little harder to chord it out with the headphones on. I do know that this is open, so it is something like... could be a G. But there's one note missing there, and I'm going to find that out later on. But I hear that note, very interesting note. And it gives it a little bit of dissonance, which I think is really nice, because that dissonance keeps you in suspense for the release, which is going to be here. And then, again, more dissonance. That's an easy one, though. That's the C major 7th. So we're going to go like this. Ben Adam. You'll notice, by the way... Oh, actually... So the way I spell things also... I guess we talked about that before with the transliteration. We can skip that now. Ben Adam. So there's going to have to be another chord there, which we'll figure out later. And then after Adam, there's going to be a C major 7th. Okay. So they're doing a D suspended second here. Alei. Important to make sure you put it over the right letter. And D suspended second. The mala. And then there's another one. Oh. And then A minor. So what we can do for now, at least, for the we could put A suspended second. Dumb. So here's what we have so far. Ben Adam Alei Alei. How beautiful is that? So I really love those suspended chords, those major 7th chords. It really gives color and flavor to the song. But they're pretty easy to find if you've done this a lot. All right, let's go to the next one. That's a regular A minor. Regular D minor. So again, they're going from that A minor to the A suspended second. So let's go and put that in. Alei lema, alei. Oops, this is supposed to be D minor. Ben Adam. And because I'm a perfectionist, we'll put in Alei ben Adam. Hold on, where do they have that? So it's actually after the Adam. Alei ben Adam. All right, and then, so we're going to add it over here, A suspended second. And what I do is in the basic version, in the simplified version, I take out all of these suspended and major chords, major 7 chords, and I just make them regular major and minor chords, so they're very easy to play. Because if you do that major minor, it'll sound like this. Right? It's still very beautiful, you just don't have the... Right? It's just a little less flavorful, but it's still very beautiful. And also, there's a balance between putting too much in and not enough in, I think. So over here, there's going to be sometimes melody playing in the background. You can't add every single note in, or it's going to not even make musical sense. So in this case, well, that's pretty much just a G. There might be another note in there, but nothing that I feel is necessary to add. Alei, limala, alei. And I don't really know this song very well, so when I do this, I learn how to sing it as well. Anyway, there's a nice little twist there. So there's definitely some kind of a G. I'm going to change this A suspended second to a G. And, whoops. I just think it's better. And then B is in G anyway, so that note is there. But there is still that one note that we have to find later on. So now the second time around, I listen to it to see if there's anything I want to add in that might be a little nicer than the first round. Because sometimes you'll find different orchestration the second time around. Beautiful. Love it. So here it says G. We had so they're saying that there might be another G. I don't know if I hear the G. Let me see it again. I don't know if even if there was a G, I don't like it there. A lot of music is about feeling, you know, and the G is a major chord. It raises you up, and I'm not sure if I feel that. No, I don't think G is correct there. I think that's a mistake. I'm taking that out. A minor. Okay. So that's the verse. The verse is complete, except for that one G. We have to find that missing note. And then now let's go to the chorus, and then we'll call it a day for Shabbos. What I'm doing now is I'm just running through the song once with the chords they show me to see if anything is totally wrong. So this is the G minor, and G minor is not in A minor. So, for example, okay, this note here, F. Let's see here. Wait 1 second. We have G minor. So G major. All right. This note is in the scale, but this note here, which is B flat, is not in the scale. So this single note here is not going to match everything else in the song. That's why I think it's a mistake. Let's hear. Maybe it's not. It's actually it could be a borrowed chord. They have this thing called borrowed chords where you could borrow chords from another scale, and it could add a little flavor to it. And interesting. I'm going to come back to this later because I'm going to need to listen very closely on that, and we're running out of time. So that's going to be a wild card. That's it. That's the whole song. It's pretty nice. There's a couple really nice chords here. Let's go and find them. So we have F. It's hard to play. It's hard to listen. Do this through headphones because it's blocking the sound a little bit. Okay. So this is okay. So F it is. F major. And then we'll do the C. There's something nice to the C here. Okay, so that's also going to be the C major 7th again. C. We'll do C major 7th. And if you really want to play it out, you can even pluck those two notes. D minor. So over here they have a melody that goes, but again, the balance between melody and the chord, you can't have every piece of the melody in there. So I'm going to actually leave that out and just keep it as A minor. Kanfei, Ruach. I don't know, it's nice. Okay. I mean, maybe we should put it in. I don't know. Again, over here. So the way they're doing it is they're doing all kinds of complex plucking a little higher up, and if you're doing sheet music, that's going to be great. But for chords, it doesn't work that way. It's going to be too difficult to do it that way because you'll end up having all like a million chords. So that's why we have to have that balance.
יש לך כנפי רוח, כנפי נשרים אבירים, ונשרים.
So they actually add in the second here. So we can do a G, add 9. So the way you do G, add 9 is it's the second note of the G major scale, so you're playing that note. Normally, when you do a major scale, you do the first, third, and fifth notes of the scale. When you add in the second note, it's going to be in add 9 chord or an add 2, but in music theory, you're going to play it higher up, and it's going to be an add 9. 9 and 2 are the same notes, one's an octave higher. So if you got that, good. So that's what we have here. Hear that? Kanfei, ne. And so G, add 9. Ne. Then back to G again. Reem. C. Again with the Sarim. Avirim. C major 7. Okay, we're almost done. It's going to repeat itself. Okay, that's good. There's no G minor in here. This is a mistake. Okay. Okay, so let's go over here. We'll do it one by one. So we have Al, F major. Bam is going to be C, and then after C is going to be the C major 7th again. I want to uppercase this pen, it's a mistake, and also the V. Pen, T minor. A minor. D minor.
ראש אותם דראש בן אדם, ראש בן אדם. ראש בן אדם, ראש בן אדם.
Interesting.
ראש בן אדם, ראש בן אדם.
So they're adding in a C. Now there is a C already in the A minor chord, but it's not a bass note C. And then they're also adding in this, the G as well. And there is no G. So the G is... in A minor, it's actually going to be the minor 7th. So that will be a minor 7th. So another thing that I have here, by the way, is it's called chordfinder.com, and it takes you here. And you can actually put, if you ever don't know a chord, you can just put it in. So if I want to put in this chord, all right, A minor 7th, it tells me. Also C6, but if you know theory, you'll know that it's an A minor 7th in this case. Although, if we're adding in the C bass note, it could be a C6th. So we have to figure that out. Also, I'm not like a theoretician, so some of the stuff I say, if it's wrong, just correct me, and I'll learn that way. So I would appreciate that. Is it going to C? So I'm going to come back to this a bit later to go in more detail, but I think what's happening here is going from A to C and then to C6. That sounds pretty good to me. So we'll do that here for now. So, Rosh Ben and C6. And the reason it's C6 and not A minor 7th is that now playing C, it's a variation of the C. That's my understanding of the theory. If I'm wrong, let me know. And then we have to move this D out. Okay. Something's going on over here as well. I don't have time to figure that out right now. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and play it one time through, and then I'm going to get out of here. Check, check. Oops, what did I just do? Okay. A Ready? Ben Adam, Alei limala Alei, Alei limala Alei, Ben Adam, Alei limala Alei, Ben Adam, Alei limala Alei, Alei limala Alei, Ben Adam, Alei limala Alei. Kiko achaz lecha. Kiko achaz. Let's hear how that goes. See a mistake. The F is on the koach. Kiko achaz lecha. Yesh lecha kanfei ruach. Yesh lecha kanfei ruach. Kanfei, 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 kanfei. Sharim abirim, kanfei nesharim abirim. Kanfei nesharim abirim. Al techachesh bom.
אל תכחש בו.
Al tekachesh bam. En yechashu lecha. Derosh otam, derosh otam, derosh ben Adam. Derosh otam, derosh ben Adam. V'yimatzu lecha miyad. V'yimatzu miyad. There's no lecha. They may have taken out the lecha from the verse. I think the original verse has lecha in it. I'm going to double check, but if it does, I'm going to leave it in just to keep the verse original. Certain things I like to keep original, but it's just, I guess, preference. V'yimatzu lecha miyad. V'yimatzu lecha miyad. Kiko achaz lecha. Yesh lecha kanfei ruach. Yesh lecha kanfei ruach. Kanfei nesharim abirim. Al tichachesh ba. Pen yechachashu lecha. Derosh otam, derosh otam. Otam, derosh otam, derosh ben Adam. Okay, so that's how I make the chord book. Then, at the very end, what I do, oh my God, I really have to go. What I do at the end is, one second. You know what, we're gonna have to come back to this, I don't have time. I go and I get the scale. And I put all the details in, I find the range. And once I do that, then I go ahead and place it inside my list of songs. This could be maybe version 2. We'll do this maybe Motzei Shabbos or something. Sunday, Monday. What I do is then I find the scale and I put it in based on its scale. So right now it's going to be no capo, A minor. So the capo scale and actual scale are the same. It's an actually an A minor song. And I'll put it in a place that the tempo matches the other songs. Maybe Ramin Komcha, Visha'amda, Ilan Ilan. And I'll add it to the list. And that's how I do the Kumzits Chordbook. There's still a little bit more that I would show you. especially when we start using capos and having different keys, how it works, but that's for another time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great Shabbos.